that Mississippi, surrounded by four walls that ain't so pretty. His parents give him love and affection to keep him strong, moving in the right direction, living just enough for the city.
101.7 in Truth. It's your girl Jazz Tyler. Happy Friday, Milwaukee. We are live and direct. What's the word? You have officially been tapped in. Milwaukee, surrounding areas, America. Listen, we have officially made it to Friday. I'm your host, Jazz Tyler. I'm your host, Jazz Tyler. Listen, it's been a long week. It's been a long 2 weeks. But because you are tapped in, the emails can wait. The group chat is already active, and whatever irritated you Monday through Thursday, check this out. We are releasing that today. Welcome to Friday Kickback with your girl, Jazz Tyler. For the next 3 hours, we are going to laugh, talk a little mess, play some music, and get the city involved. So, first and foremost, I have to kick off my affirmation. My affirmation for today is I'm going to get some sleep. I am going to get some sleep. I am. One day. I'm not sure what day, but one day. It has been an amazing 2 weeks, but also a very draining 2 weeks for me. My youngest daughter, my 9-year-old, is getting ready to start 4th grade. And that means that she is maturing in so many different ways. Got to start having some conversations. She's starting to like little boys, all of the above. So it's getting real interesting, right? On the other hand, I have an 18-year-old who's going to college. Well, she's in college, but she's moving into her dorm next week. So I am parenting a young adult and a 9-year-old. And I have to tell you, those are two completely different parenting styles. On top of the fact that they think I'm an ATM, on top of the fact that school is about to start back Monday, which means I have to go back to teaching 80 youth a day, every day. Every day for 8 hours a day. So yeah, it's a lot going on. Again, this week has been very, very eventful, but also tiring. I'm just glad it's the weekend, y'all. I'm glad it's the weekend. I want to hear from you, 833-212-1017. What you got planned for the weekend? Today, during the kickback, we are going to have some fun. Again, all week we have real conversations. Towards the end of the week, I always want to lighten it up a little bit, primarily because we do too much. We do too much every day of the week, right? Today is the day. This weekend, listen, tell your babies, don't call my name. I don't want to hear mama or daddy. Do not call my name and don't ask me for nothing. Put your phones on D&D. Get some quality self-care time. Make sure you put that laptop down, because if you are a person who is like me, even when I'm off of work, I'm still working. Still producing ideas, still finding ways to make extra income, all of the above. But this weekend, we are not doing that. So today, we're going to have a little bit of fun. First and foremost, coming up at the 4:15 slot, we are going to open the lines for Friday confessions. What's your Friday confession? And again, you don't have to blast anybody. You don't have to blast yourself. We just want to hear. It can be something pertaining to work. It could be something pertaining to your relationship. We don't judge. We listen. Listen, Linda, listen. So hit me up, 833-212-1017. Coming up at 4:30, we are going to travel through the decades, right? We are traveling through the decades of music and how music relates to telling a story about America. The 70s, the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, all the way up into where we are currently today. And this came about because I was listening to some music from the 2000s, and we'll dive a little bit more into it later on. But it made me think. Sometimes not sometimes. I personally believe that a lot of the music that is made or has been made has always been a reflection of our reality, but somewhere along the lines it changed. And I believe it changed in the year 2000. So the year 2000, that's when the human trafficking laws were implemented. But then that's when the start of a new type of hip hop began, right? The commercialized music, the business. You started to hear more music about pimping and all of this, other stuff. And it had me thinking about what messages are being sent, and if the labels deliberately force artists to make these types of music, knowing that there are specific laws set into place that could force people to go to prison, right? So we'll talk about a little bit about that as well. But again, 4:15 is Friday Confessions, man. We gotta have some conversations. We gotta get it off. Get it off your chest. Say it with your chest. Get it off your chest. Have some fun, right? No judgment. Again, you don't have to blast anybody. You can change the names, whatever it is. But let's have a little bit of fun today. I want to hear from y'all. It's been a long week, man. It's been an extremely long week. I got to give a shout out to my best friend Sharika, to Kenda and CC yesterday. If you were not able to join us, you can go back and watch that show on 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. That was the first edition of Pull Up, Unpack, and Unwind Ladies Edition. So once a month, I am going to invite my real life friends onto Tapped In to have some conversations about sisterhood, motherhood, relationships, all of the above. And yesterday was extremely fun. There was a lot of conversation around girl code. And the reason being is because of, honestly, the youth. The more I talk to my students, the more I'm talking to my children, it just prompted me to think about the fact that this younger generation has no code whatsoever. And that's where the term they use backdooring comes from, right? They're all backdooring each other, backstabbing each other because they don't have a code. And it's up to us to kind of show them what that looks like. So again, I just wanted to shout out my friends for joining me yesterday and assisting me with showing the world what it looks like to have good rapport between women, Black women, and to be specific, and that it's okay to make new friends. We are living in society, a day and time where everybody is like, no new friends. No, it's okay. Sometimes the new person you meet will treat you better than anybody you've known for your entire life. Sharika, I've known for 20 years. Kenda, I just met her this year through my other best friend. And Cece, I met her through work. I know them all through 3 different ways. And, we've managed to build great rapport and great relationships. So want to be able to invite y'all into my world, but also show y'all again what that looks like. So shout out to them. What do y'all got planned for the weekend? What's going on this weekend? I know State Fair is still happening. Shout out to True School. They have some events that's happening this weekend with the hip hop world as well. I'm sure there's some more back to school programs. Shout out to my community brother, Von Mays. Today from 5 to 10 p.m. at 5 Star, the old YMCA off of Titonia and Garfield. We have the lock-in program. Yesterday was super dope. Shout out to 414 Life and their event that's happening this Saturday as well. At Lakeside on 71st and Mill Road. The lock-in program is free. It's free for all youth ages 12 to 17. We offer free meals. There's gifts, raffles, funding, paint and sip, yoga, all of the above. So if you have any youth who is interested and needs something to do today, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., they can head on over to 5 Star right there on Titonia and Garfield. And, who knows? They may win some money. school is starting back next week for some students, including me. And as we go into this school year, make sure that you are preparing your children for school mentally, right? I feel like this summer went by so fast. We haven't even had enough time to process the last school year. And now they want us to come back and do it all again. Parents, I sympathize with you. I promise I do. We got to go to break. Coming back, we are opening up the first ever Friday confessions, right? So this isn't a situation where, again, you have to mention anyone's name. We're not here to judge. Even if you don't want to say your real name, that's fine too. Just please don't do Igga-ish. Please don't do Igga-ish. What do I mean by that? Don't say anything that is going to make me a witness. I don't want to be involved. Leave me out of it. So when you call and give your confession, please make sure it is radio appropriate. And I have to give that disclaimer because we all know that one person, especially here in Milwaukee, there's always that one person who do the most. So again, I want to hear from you after this break. 833-212-1017. We want to hear your Friday confession. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. Do not touch that dial.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
101.7 The Truth. You are officially tapped in with your girl, Jazz Tyler. Listen, this is your chance to get something off of your chest before the weekend, right? You can change names if you need to, disguise your voice In your own head, I don't need any identifying information. Maybe you lied and said you were busy because you didn't feel like going. Maybe you were pretending to like somebody's cooking. Oh, Lord. I am good for that. Maybe you've been sitting in the driveway for 20 minutes before going inside just to get some peace. Maybe you told your coworker the system was down when the system was you. I've done that. I've done that before. In my call center days, you better believe it. Something's wrong with my system. I can't log on. I need an extra 30 minutes. Right? But we want to hear from you, 833-212-1017. What's something you want to get off your chest? How you feeling today? Shout out to the chat. What's up, Jazz West? Thank you so much for tapping in with us. Right now, we are doing our Friday confession, right? I think I have a couple of confessions. Just got to be careful because you never know who's listening. Never know who's listening. The first confession is I pigged out this week. I'm so disappointed in myself. I promise you. I went from eating salads and, veggie bowls and couscous and zucchini to eating steak, right? Crab boils, smothered chicken, gyros. I did so bad this week, and I'm so frustrated with myself. I promise you I am. I got to do better, man. I got to do better, right? I want to hear from you, 833-212-1017. What is your confession? What happened this week? What happened at work? What happened in your relationship? Let's hear from you. We got a caller on the line. John Doe, are you there?
I'm here.
Thank you so much for tapping in with us. How are you?
I'm actually really well. How are you?
I am well. What's your confession? What's your Friday confession?
So I do have a confession, right? But it's not necessarily a bad thing. For years, I was friends with this extremely gorgeous woman, and I always wanted to ask her out, but I didn't get around to it. Luckily, I found the courage on my birthday last week to ask her out, and it was one of the best birthdays I ever had, and I think she dope as fuck, and I definitely want to know her better.
That's an amazing confession. What's her name? That's an amazing confession. First and foremost, any guy who takes a woman out on their birthday says a lot. Says a lot. Kudos. You get extra points for doing stuff like that. Do men even do that anymore? Do men even put themselves to the side to make sure that they are catering to someone that they want? I want to hear from you. 833-212-1017. What's up, Mouth Elephant? What's good, Tom? Shout out to the chat. Shout out to everyone that's listening. So I was saying, my confession was I've been eating bad, right? But I have another confession. Y'all, let me tell y'all, it went down. Oh, my goodness. Oh, it was about to go down. I almost flipped over every table in this building. In my head, I flipped over everything. I can't tell you where or why. But just know, people have really, really been trying to test me this week. And it took everything in me to remain professional and to not pay attention to the disrespect. But ultimately, it ended in a conversation and, all of that. And I'm talking about work, not the station. Not the station, but talking about work, the other job. It was difficult. And trying to figure out how to navigate situations where somebody is trying to play with you, especially in a professional setting, especially when you are around people of other ethnicities, because they don't tend to understand Black people code. We know what it means when a Black person is being passive aggressive. You playing with me, right? But you can't take that to someone else and say, hey, they're doing this, because you can't prove that they're doing it without hard evidence, right? But Black people have a way, when they want to bother you, they have a way of being passive aggressive and doing things. And I'm telling you, God of owe me almost came out. I was about ready to flip some tables over. I just said a silent prayer. Dear God, help me. Please, I promise. Help me, help me. Help me, help me. Elephant says, do women take time to cater to men? Absolutely. Listen, let me tell you something.
What?
Yeah, I do. If you my man, if you mine, I'm paying for haircuts. I'm taking you out for lunch, for dinner. I'm giving you a manicure, pedicure. I'm paying for spas. I'm tricking on my man. And he tricking on me too. It ain't tricking if you got it. Most definitely. I'm a cook. I'm going to iron his clothes. You understand? We rubbing backs. We ain't doing no arguing, and black women don't cheat. Black women
You mean
don't
black
cheat.
men?
Black women don't cheat.
Say that one more time. Oh, something going on with your mic? Oh.
Listen, y'all see they already hating on me. Meech and Z is in the back hating because I said black women don't cheat. Jazz West said, I said I wasn't going to eat chips for Manon Sabir, but I had some cheese Doritos. Listen, I had put together an entire plan.
Bust it open. Get your stuff.
Yeah, Al. I put together an entire plan for my life. You hear me? For my life, trying to figure out how to navigate my life with everything that's going on. And my diet was a part of it. And baby, let me tell you, temptation is real. Temptation, because it's not, I don't know. I just can't leave the gravy alone. I got to have smothered this, smothered that. I haven't had sweets in about 6 months. Then I had at Bronzeville Fest, I bought me some bean pies, and I've been on a sugar rant ever since. So I feel you, Jazz. Give yourself some grace. Tone said they trying to bring out Jazzy B. Man, listen, it almost got real. I promise you. Mouth Elephant says, nah, that was God signs there, Jazz. You should have flipped those tables over. So you telling me that God was like, hey, go ahead, I got your back. Flip all of that over. Flip all that over. Man, listen. We're talking about Friday Confessions, 833-212-1017. What happened? What happened this week? What happened in your life and your relationship at work? Who made you mad? Who sent you a text that you was just like, you know what? I can't even respond to this. I can't say anything. Mouth Elephant said, well, Jazz, Usher warned you about that temptation. Yeah, you got to be careful. Got to be careful, especially if you got to be careful about temptation. He said Usher warned you about that. He warned us about letting it burn too. Yeah, it's real. Void that temptation on every level. Later on today, well, actually starting at 4:30, we're going to do something different as we head into the 5 o'clock hour. I want to talk about the music in different decades, but how it reflects this country, right? Every generation has a soundtrack. The 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. And there was something that sparked this in me and made me realize that not only has music been the reporter for us, right, when it comes to what we deal with as black people in this country, but somewhere along the lines it switched. Something changed. It's almost like they started to force artists to create and promote music that went against the laws they were creating at the same time in efforts to brainwash the masses of people to actually go out and conduct these acts based off of the music, and then in which that would lead them to jail time. And it started to happen around the year 2000, maybe in the 90s too, maybe a little bit in the 90s. I'll say late 90s, early 2000s, right? It started to happen. During the 90s, there was more so informative music. You know, there were more artists talking about mass incarceration, talking about the war on drugs and and warfare and all of the above. But as we got to the year 2000, things changed. So we're going to talk about that, right? The soundtrack to America. All generations. And we're going to lead it all the way up into the music today. So, Friday Confession is closed. We are about to travel through 5 decades of music, the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and right now. But we are not just reminiscing. We are listening for what the music was telling us about the country at the moment, because music has always been told in America. It tells you what people we are celebrating, what we are surviving, what we are afraid of, what we are angry about, and sometimes what the culture was normalizing without even realizing it. Every half hour, a new decade, every decade, one big conversation. And before we leave that decade, somebody has to prove they actually know the music with finish the lyrics. So we're going to start in 1970, in the 1970s, right? Marvin Gaye asked a question that still works today. What's going on? What's happening? What is going on? So at 4:30, make sure y'all tap in, get your phones ready. If you at work, you can hit the chat. You can also hit us up on 101.7 The Truth on Instagram and Facebook, as well as tap in MKE. Man, we got some good stuff going on. I want to hear from y'all, especially those who be out there at the karaoke joints. Y'all swear y'all know the songs, y'all know the music. We're going to put it to the test. Do not touch that dial. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler, 101.7 The Truth.
Milwaukee, it's Meet and Greet and Support the Youth by Coach Erica. Come shop with your local youth entrepreneurs Saturday, August 15th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at 4011 West Capitol Drive. Enjoy a day filled with fun, shopping, and building community together. That's August 15th, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., 4011 West Capitol Drive. That's Meet and Greet and Support the Youth by Coach Erica this Saturday, August 15th. We hope to see you there.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Milwaukee, mark your calendars. Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Riverside University High School. Interested in volunteering? Visit truthfamilyfest.com or by emailing Sierra, Cierra.brown@milwaukeeblackmedia.com. Special thanks to Educators Credit Union, American Family Insurance, Milwaukee Public Schools, Artists Working in Education, City of Milwaukee, Department of Community Wellness and Safety, AB Core, Tap In MKE, and Ascension.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
I'm your pusher man. I'm your pusher man. I'm your pusher man.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. You are officially tapped in. Make sure you do not forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, 101.7 The Truth, and follow us on social media as well at The Jazzy Effect, and tap in MKE. We want to hear from you. So, before we went to break, I was explaining to you all that we are about to travel, right? About to hop in a time machine, take a travel through all generations of music so that we can analyze it, right? Music has always been the soundtrack for our people in this country. And although we are always entertained by it, there was a point in time where the music represented us, our struggles, the things we were going through. And I am curious to compare and contrast what it is these artists were talking about with what actually was happening in our country during that time. So, people romanticize the 70s, right? Every time you think about the 70s, you think about the clothes, the afros, Soul Train, dancing and all of that. But underneath the soundtrack, America was dealing with inflation, unemployment, political distrust, the aftermath of the war. Cities were losing jobs and resources, and Black communities was still asking a very basic question after the civil rights victories of the 60s. When does equality on paper become equality in everyday life? And into all of that comes Marvin Gaye asking essentially, what is happening to us? What is going on, right? Those records weren't just saying, I love you. They were talking about poverty, war, drugs, faith, money, racism, family, survival. They were literally the soundtrack to our lives. I was born in the 80s, so I can only tell you based off of, my siblings, my parents, and people in my family, and based off of the research that I have done. But if you lived through the 70s or your parents raised you on that music, hit me up, man. 833-212-1017. I want to know what song from that decade tells you what life actually felt like, right? Again, we always romanticize about the 70s and the way that it's depicted in movies and music, but unless you was there, you wouldn't know, right? And a lot of times, especially my generation, that music feels good. That's actually a problem. The problem that was going on in songs like Inner City Blues feel good when you listen to it means that you have programmed yourself to be okay with pain just because there's a sweet melody and a nice beat. Behind that sweet melody and nice beat, those lyrics had pain. It was real life. It was the soundtrack for a lot of people's lives. And obviously that's not the only artist or the only song, but I'm using that as an example, right? Mild the Elephant says, not fair, I'm driving. It's okay. You can put it in a chat too. You can put it in a chat as well. I know a lot of y'all are at work. So if you aren't able to call in for lyrics of the day, or if you aren't able to call in overall, you still can hit up the chat. And we'll do that. We'll respond with that. But let's dive into Inner City Blues by Marvin Gaye. Some of his lyrics: inflation, no chance to increase finance. Bills pile up sky high. Send that boy off to die. Oh, it made me want to holler. He's talking about inflation. He's talking about increases to increase finance. The bills piling up. They sending our babies off to war. Can y'all tell me if that sound familiar? Does that sound familiar to anyone? Right? It's 2026. 2026. We're reading the lyrics to Inner City Blues by Marvin Gaye. Inflation, no chance to increase finance. Bills pile up sky high. Send that boy off to die. That sounds like the very things that we are dealing with today in America. And that is extremely interesting to me. Very, very interesting. History repeats itself. These are things that we may sing along to without even realizing that we're singing the soundtracks to our lives currently. without knowing that we are singing the soundtracks to our lives currently. Now for the young people that's listening, I want you in on this too. When you listen to those songs now, do they sound like history or do they sound like it could have been written yesterday? So here's what's interesting to me. In the 70s, an artist could make you dance and still make you confront something. The groove didn't cancel out the message, right? The groove did not cancel out the message. When we talk about music today and how it reflects this country, I'm pretty sure there are still a lot of hip hop artists out there who are reporting what is happening in our communities. However, there is not many of them. And I think that there is this, somehow we've painted the picture that we don't want any music with substance, or that it's impossible to have a song you can dance to while it has substance in it. I don't understand it. I don't want to hear serial killer music all day. Now, don't get me wrong. I like listening to certain artists, right? But let's get back to making music that speaks about our reality. Not just the reality of a rock star, right? But the reality and the conditions of the people. Let's get back to that. So, again, even if you are not able to call in, you still can hit the chat. Mile the Elephant says, sounds familiar, definitely. Then again, history is bound to repeat itself if we do not learn from it. Exactly. It does. It never stopped. I think that's the biggest scam. The biggest scam in this country is convincing us that slavery stopped, that inflation stopped, that everything pertaining to whatever it is that they're trying to solve has stopped. It has not. We are still going through the same things our parents was going through in the civil rights era, so on and so on. It has not changed. So we're about to hop into the Finish the Lyrics segment, right? Here's the rule. My good brother Mech and brother Z, they're going to play a clip. And we're going to stop it right before the next line. And you have 5 seconds. I need the words. Not humming. Not you know the part. Not emotional support from people in your car. Don't be trying to cheat if you in the chat. Y'all trying to hit up Chat GPT and get the lyrics. Cannot cheat. And I know you're cheating based off how quickly you respond. Mile the elephant. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. All right, let's go. Let's run that clip.
And since we all came from a woman, got our name from a woman, and I came from a woman. I wonder why we take from our women, why we rape our women too.
That's too easy. If y'all don't know that, I don't know what to tell y'all. I don't know what to tell y'all. If y'all don't know those lyrics, I don't know what to tell you. But let's run it back, Z. Let's run it back, brother Z. Let's give him one more shot. Eight 833-212-1017. We want to hear from you. To finish the lyrics to the Tupac song, Keep Your Head Up. Put it in the chat. So if you are just joining us, we are talking about the decades of music and how it is a soundtrack to this country. Right now, we're talking about the 70s and the condition that our people were in at that specific time. The artists who chose to take a stand and step out to make sure that they reported whatever it was that they were seeing inside of our communities and putting it into the music. Sometimes I wish I was born in the 70s. Although I love being an 80s baby, I genuinely wish that I was born in the 70s. I just would love to see what it was like. The stories that I hear is not all negative, but I do know a lot of people. Well, as far as Black people, I know we were doing good in some areas, but there still was a lot that was happening with the drugs, with the war on drugs, with all of the above. So yeah, again, we want to hear from you, 833-212-1017. If you can't hit me up over the phone because you at work, hit me up in the chat. Hit me up on social media, 101.7 The Truth. Tap in MKE and the Jazzy Effect. That's JAZZIEEFFECT. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We are coming up on our break here. Soon as before we go to break, we are going to move into the 1980s. Right? This is where it gets tricky. This is where gangster rap started. This is where the crack epidemic started. If you was born in the 80s or raised in the 80s, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is when hip hop, I'm not going to say it was birthed, but it most definitely was going down. You had real life people, all from all walks of life, who was reporting live and direct from the streets. And we're going to listen to some lyrics. We're going to talk about what was going on during the 80s and how it reflected in the music. Again, we want to hear from you, 833-212-1017. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler.
Each early detection, each shortened hospital stay, each quick recovery reminds us why we serve. From first breaths to complex surgeries to rehabilitation that gets you back to your family sooner, we stand ready, quietly preparing, focused, and guided by one promise: to be fully devoted to you. Ascension, Wisconsin. Advanced care devoted to you.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is "My job is people, everyone is my business." But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hang-ups, letdowns, bad breaks, setbacks, natural. Fact is, honey, that I can't pay my taxes.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. If you are just now tuning in, we are taking a timeline trip, right? Music has always been the soundtrack to our lives in this country. It has always expressed and explained the things that we go through as a people, right? Music, real music that you can feel, that you can feel in your soul, feel in your bones. Before we went to break, we were talking about the 70s and the conditions that we were living in based off of the music that was being made. Now we're talking about the 80s, right? The 80s gave us huge pop culture, MTV and the commercial rise of hip hop, but it also gave urban America the crack crisis, the war on drugs, and neighborhoods being talked about more often than they were listened to, right? So here's the question, the hard question for today. Did hip hop glorify the streets, or did hip hop simply force America to hear the streets? My personal opinion, I believe that it started off with us forcing this country to hear our reality. And if anybody that grew up in the 80s or anyone who's a fan of NWA, I'm pretty sure you've seen the news clips from back in the day where Cube was mentioning this, right? Where all of them were talking about being reporters from the streets because our voices have always been silenced. So I think initially hip hop started out forcing Americans to hear the streets, and then we somehow turned it into glorifying the streets. And a lot of the artists today that glorify the streets are artists who are not from the streets, because if they was, then they will understand that you are supposed to use music to get out of the streets. That's where they got the game wrong. But when you go back to the 80s and you listen to Public Enemy and the song The Message, right? Grandmaster Flash, and you're listening to NWA, they are giving you a direct report of what was happening during that time. They are giving you a direct report of what they see whenever they walk outside of their homes. And it worked so much to the point where, the people started listening because we understood it. We understood it. And I think and follow me here, because as we move along through the decades, you're going to understand why I'm talking about this and how it's relevant to today's music and where we are as society, in society as a whole. But the more they started to report about what was going on, the more they started to become harassed, right? FBI sent NWA a letter telling them that they didn't have a freedom of speech, that they could not rap about the things that they were rapping about, even though it was a direct report, right? Also, it's almost as if they became musical journalists, right? They became musical journalists, and I think people was just so excited to hear the sound, to hear someone who relates to them, that comes from where they come from, and everybody just wanted to support it. It's like, yeah, I feel this. This is real rap, not cap rap. These are things that we are currently facing. These are things that we are going through. And somebody is actually standing up saying something. Because remind you, when we're talking about the 80s, we are still in it. This is only 20 years, not even 20, maybe 15 years after the civil rights movement. Let me put that into perspective for you. 1980, not too far from the civil rights movement. And we all know what went down during that time. We all know what went down in the 70s when they hit our families with heroin, with crack, with all of the above, right? So by the time we get to the 80s, some of our prominent artists had then passed away due to drug overdoses, due to drugs, people like Marvin Gaye, drugs playing a factor in them dying, not just from overdose, but just behavior, just everything overall. And back then, it was hard to stand up and say anything unless you were a part of the movement. A lot of people did not want to take the chances or the sacrifices to stand up and fight for their people. There were other people in organizations and leaders who they would just work with, right? For example, Chairman Fred Jr. tell the story all the time about when James Brown came to Chicago, right? and he made one of his songs, and they told him he had to go back in the booth. And that's when he came back out and made I'm Black and I'm Proud. Because the music dictated. The music, we dictated the music. The music didn't dictate us. So by the time the 80s came and people were reporting, now that they're reporting and it's making worldwide news, it made the government look crazy, right? They could no longer hide how they were treating black people, even though we already knew. But that's the real reason why they became afraid. Because people started to stand up and say, we're not taking it no more, right? Not even just as if it didn't happen before or as if there weren't people prior to us, our current ancestors who was fighting for us, because they were. But this was a new breed. Hip hop was a new breed, a different breed. And it made a huge statement. It made a huge statement. Hey, this is what we're going through. This is what we're not going to accept, right? So boom, that happens. And now you got people from all walks of life who are supporting the hip hop and the gangsta rap because it is somebody who is finally telling the truth, right? No sugarcoat, no beating around the bush. Now we begin to see more people start to pay attention to the lyrics in the sense of glorifying it, not as much as today, but they're doing it subconsciously. They don't even understand that they're glorifying it. They're not comprehending that, hey, we're saying this because this is what we're going through. It's not cap rap, it's real life. This is my life. Whether, it was a big deal about them cursing, about them calling women out their names and all of this other type of stuff. But this was the reality. And people, instead of taking it to say, hey, we need to figure this out, right? We need to find a different way we need to change our lives so that we can report something differently. People begin to glorify it, and they begin to mimic the behavior, mimic the attitudes, all of the above. Not mimic in a sense of not being who they truly were, but it's like, hey, it's relatable. I feel this because this is my life right now. That makes it easier for me to want to do. I'm already doing what they're talking about. So yeah, I'm going to help promote it. Yeah, I'm going to help push it, right? I'm going to help push. And then that became a problem. So when our voices were amplified by a group of people or groups of people who were not passive, people who were rebels, right? It became a problem. So now we can't stop them from saying how they feel. Now it's starting to make national news. Now they're getting invited to the White House and all of the above, and everything that we're doing to these people is starting to come out. We have to figure out a way to put a lid on it, right? We have to figure out a way to get politics involved with gangster rap and hip hop to limit the voice of these people, meaning black people. This is the government we're talking about. Because it's unacceptable. Not only do we not want people all over the world to know, because in case y'all didn't know, a lot of the news that happens overseas is not what the people here see, and vice versa. Y'all remember growing up in the 80s and 90s and seeing, the 90s and seeing them commercials about the kids in Africa? All of Africa didn't look like that. They push out into the media whatever it is that they want us to know. So once we started utilizing music to amplify our voices, this country, the people who ran this country, that was an embarrassment to them, because whatever lies was being told, behind closed doors, the math wasn't mathing. And then you have people putting batteries in the people back, right? Giving them hope, giving them power with their words, forcing them to stand up. It's another rise. See, the civil rights movement, the Black Power movement, all of the above, they deaded that. They got rid of almost everybody. And they thought that they was done. So by the time gangster rap music started and by the time hip hop came, they was like, hold up. What's going on? I thought I sent y'all and told y'all to go take care of that. Now it's another rise of black people that's happening. And it's a different type. These are different types of people, of black people. They rebels in a different way. They had to figure out a way to make sure that we couldn't utilize our voices in the capacity that we needed to. That's where the politics entered into music. Politics always been in it. But the politics entered into the music industry a little bit different in the 80s. Once gangsta rap and hip hop showed up, it was a rap. It was a rap. Man, when you think about it and how strategic they have been, I'm telling you, thought-provoking is going to make you want to pay attention to what you listen to and how to protect your doorways a little bit more, as you should. As you should. We got to go to break. When we come back, let's tap into the 90s. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler, 101.7 The Truth.
Milwaukee, have you ever lost power in a bad storm and then opened up a bill that was somehow higher than the month before? Or gotten a disconnection notice, fallen behind, and just couldn't catch up? We've been through a lot together. Now We Energies wants to raise rates again. The Public Service Commission is listening, and this is your chance. Comment now. Or come speak in person at Marquette University the first week of September. Learn more at walnutway.org.
Milwaukee, mark your calendars. Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Riverside University High School. Interested in volunteering? Visit truthfamilyfest.com or by emailing Sierra, CIERRA.brown@milwaukeeblackmedia.com. Special thanks to Educators Credit Union, American Family Insurance, Milwaukee Public Schools, Artists Working in Education, City of Milwaukee, Department of Community Wellness and Safety, AB Core, Tap In MKE, and Ascension.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. Improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to healthcare and nutritious food for their tables. Where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support. And where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
Milwaukee Black Talk lives here on 101.7 FM and 1510 AM, W269 DL Milwaukee, and WGKB Waukesha.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. Are your finances low, your mindset off track, or are you ready to get into real estate? Tune in to The Journey with Coach Erica every first and third Saturday from 11 a.m. to noon on 101.7 The Truth. It's all about mindset, money, and real estate, helping you take the next step towards building a better future. Truth Nation, it's your girl, Jazz Tyler. You are officially tapped in. Hey, check this out. If you are just now joining us, you have officially tapped into the Friday Kickback, and we are doing the soundtrack of America. Every half hour is a decade. We just got up out the 80s. We were talking about the music, pretty much telling them they did not have the right to voice, to use their voice. And I was explaining that once, this is where things changed in music.
Negro, please.
Once they were able to dictate how we get to make our music based off of how much money we were being paid, that is when hip-hop changed, right? That is when hip-hop changed. And it wasn't a payout because we were talented. It was a payout to be quiet. It was a payout to say, hey, if you are going to make this music and report to the streets, you're going to do it in a way where you can get people to do what you do so that we can lock them up. We need it done in a way where we can capitalize off of it, right? That brings me to the 90s. Rodney King, the LA uprising, the violence, the 1994 crime bill, expanding incarceration, Biden, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, hello. While black television, hip hop, and R&B was exploding culturally, right? So by the time we reached the 90s, things changed. We had options. We had shows where black people got to be families, professionals. They could be weird, wealthy, working class, young, old, everything, right? This is also the decade of the Rodney King beating. That happened in 1992 during the LA uprising. The violent crime debate dominates politics. The 1994 crime bill became law. Incarceration expanded. Some neighborhoods are still carrying the damage of the crack era, right? And somehow the music is holding all of it. So when we go back to the 90s and we think about some of the artists that we had who were creating music, who were creating the soundtrack to our lives, right? Earlier on, it seemed as if it became more, I say like the late 80s, when Guy and certain people started to come out with the New Jack Swing, going into the 90s. It was more, dance music. It was a variety of different music, but we did have a lot of party music where people just wanted to, have a good time. Then you still had some artists like Pac, like Nas, KRS-One, different people who were speaking, directly from the streets. And during this time, this is when this is the aftermath of the war on drugs. This is during mass incarceration. This is during the invention of welfare. This is during when the housing needs changed and they started to remove the black man from the household. This is where a lot of the movies that started to be made were a reflection of the music, the hip hop music that was being made in the 80s, right? The Menace to Society and Boys in the Hood and all of the above. However, there was a balance. We still had, again, the TV shows, Different World and the Bill Cosby and all of that. But this is where they implemented law, right? So they say, hey, we're reporting from the streets in the 80s. This is what we see. We don't care. We standing up, da-da-da-da-da. All right, cool. I want y'all to, right? This is what the government telling us as a people. With our culture and our music, keep on. I want y'all to. I want y'all to keep, fighting back against what we're doing to you. And we're going to lock y'all black asses up. And what they did was create the 1994 crime bill. And that's when mass incarceration came into effect. So now all of the people who were proud to represent artists that stood up for them and spoke their truth and also spoke their life because they could relate to it, now they have to be careful because they became targets. They didn't even have to do anything. You just be black and be a man and getting locked up. So much to the point that Pac made I Get Around and all the other songs, and the vice president called him out. The vice president went on national TV and called him out about his CDs. They were stumping all over his CDs, so on and so on. I remember the clip from the NWA movie, and they had bought all of those CDs, and they was pretty much damaging it. And Eazy-E was like, it don't matter, they bought it. Like, we still got paid. All these white people buying our music just to stump on it and tell other people not to listen to it. Guess what? We still got paid, right? Which is hilarious because it's the truth. Back then, you had to physically go in the store to purchase the music. So y'all went out of y'all way to purchase the music just to destroy it, which actually didn't do anything. But we started to hear records like, after that happened where they called him out, we started to hear records like Keep Your Head Up, where he talked about war on drugs. And, Brenda's Got a Baby, which was based off of a true story. And even some of the music that KRS-One and Nas made as well. And things changed. That was a defining moment. The moment with NWA and the FBI, the letter being sent to them, was a defining moment. Those two moments specifically was a hardcore message sent to not just black men, but our culture overall. They were telling us, A, you don't have a voice. Actually, you do have a voice, but we get to dictate what that sounds like, right? And if you keep on utilizing your voices to move the masses of the people who can relate to what is really happening in your community, we are going to put you in jail. Or are we going to kill you? One or the other, but that's what's going to happen. And the hip-hop industry became political. Very, very political. So much to the point where I'm almost positive they had to sign artists who were willing to play the game. Meaning, there's no way, like, you can say something here and there, but you got to do it in a safe way. And if you're not willing to, it's going to be a problem. Because at the end of the day, the goal was for them to capitalize off of the pain of our people. What started out as us reporting what was happening, right? In case anybody was wondering, hey, this is what's happening to us. This is what they did to us. They had to figure out a way to put fear in us so that we wouldn't become rebels and that we would stop utilizing our music in that manner, because people was really waking people up. When you go back to the 80s and 90s, think about it. If you were born or you grew up during that time, think about the climate of the city. When you heard NWA, when you heard, Arrested Development, when you heard Tupac Shakur, when you heard different artists who was standing up speaking, think about the climate. Not just the music, but the climate of this city, the climate of the music industry, the climate of this country. It was so much happening. And it was so many people who were aware. This is pre-social media. I'm not talking in a marketing stance. I'm talking in a point of us lacking social skills. This is pre-social media, right? This is pre-ADD, ADHD, and, ABCD. All of the above. Whatever it is that they want to diagnose us with, this is pre all of that. Where people actually had their brain cells and was emotionally intelligent and understood, no matter if they was banging or if they was a school teacher, we all had a common goal, and that was for black people to live a certain way and for black people to have a certain type of freedom and be able to express ourselves. And that changed. And they had to figure out a way to capitalize off of it. Shout out to the chat. Jazz West says, absolutely, pay to be quiet. LaRon Taylor says, from PM Dawn. Listen, PM Dawn is so underrated. MC Hammer, we went to Public Enemy, NWA. She said, you talking what I've been telling since 2008. Exactly. Man, I truly love your show today. Thank you, Ma. Shout out to my mom in the chat. But yes, this is where things took a turn. This is where things became very political. This is where things started to feel a little bit different. And after, I say like right before Pac got murdered, assassinated, because remind you, that was them sending a message on a completely different level. And despite of what anybody got to say, we know exactly why they did it, right? When that happened, if you look at the timeline of music, that's when certain music started to be pushed to the masses of the people. That's when certain images started to be pushed to the masses of the people. And if you notice, nobody got loud enough anymore. There wasn't any artist that was standing that hard. There was a shift. And we're going to talk about it when we come back from break. Do not touch that dial. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler, 101.7 The Truth.
Educators Credit Union is more than a place to manage your money. They're where your financial possibilities take shape. They're more than transactions. They're conversations about your financial goals. More than numbers, they're community advocates who support free, local events that are accessible to all. They foster community because we are stronger together. Educators Credit Union is people helping people. Become a member at ECU.com. Insured by NCUA. Membership eligibility required.
I'm Sherwin Hughes, and I know the power of Stars and Stripes Honor Flight firsthand. As someone who's been on an honor flight, I can tell you it's a day you'll never forget. Stars and Stripes Honor Flight gives our oldest veterans who served in any location in June of 1975 or earlier a free one-day trip to Washington, D.C. for veterans. Airfare, meals, a coach bus tour, and special flight apparel are all included. It's a day of honor, gratitude, and camaraderie. Veterans who served in the Vietnam or Korean War go to flySSHF.org and ask for an application.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
Baseball bat. I tried to get away, but I couldn't get far, cause a man with a tow truck repossessed my car. Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. Listen, if you are just now joining us, we are going through decades of music, the soundtrack of America, and pointing out the flaws as it pertains to the setup. The setup of music, right? How it went from our people utilizing their voice, their God-given talent, and their platform to report live on what was happening in our communities. This is the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Then moving into the 80s to where hip hop and gangster rap started as a way to say, listen, y'all can't silence us. This is what's happening. And then moving along to the 90s to where penalties started to happen, right? You got vice presidents calling out artists and demanding that they not make the music that they made. You have artists being assassinated, hip hop artists. You have the 1994 crime bill, right? All of these things started to take place. So in the 90s, politics started to take over the music industry in a different kind of way. Because they then, and again, these are not hardcore facts. This is just my analogy of it, right? As someone who was in the industry, who have done music and been around it, as well as the movement and the people. This is the things that people don't see, right? These are the things that people may talk about in private, but we need to have these conversations out loud so that we can break down what is happening with our babies and the music that they currently listen to and the influence of it. But once politics began to take over hip hop in the music industry, it started to become a setup. So much to the point where it was like, hey, they're not listening. They're going to do what they want to do. They keep making the music. So let's figure out a way to capitalize off of it and do it in a sense where we benefit from it. That's always the case when it comes to those entities, right? So the 2000s is when hip hop becomes an enormous global business. The hustler isn't just a character anymore. The hustler becomes a brand. This is where we go into pimp language, right? In that culture. And at almost the same moment, federal law was changing how America defines and prosecute human trafficking. So what happens when the law is saying exploitation is a serious crime while entertainment can make pieces of that same imagery look glamorous? What do I mean? What are you talking about, Jazz? What are you talking about? Okay, let's dive into it. The Federal Trafficking Victims Protection Act was enacted in the year of 2000. It created a major federal framework around preventing trafficking, prosecuting traffickers, and protecting victims. Now think about what else was happening culturally around that same time. Hip hop was becoming one of the biggest business in entertainment. The hustler image was selling. The pimp language, the pimp fashion, the pimp images are showing up in records, videos, movies, televisions, even in ways that people who had nothing to do with the street life started repeating it, right? So now all of a sudden you got, not to mention, I forgot about this, the hip hop police. So in the early 2000s, it was revealed that the New York Police Department, NYPD, and other federal agencies maintained a covert rap intelligence unit. This unit actively monitored artists and tracked the travel of high-profile hip-hop artists under the assumption that record labels were operating as fronts for street gangs. So basically, they started to target all of the hip-hop and rap artists who were becoming businessmen, creating record labels and then signing their record labels to the bigger record labels, right? These are the guys that's like, hey, I know an artist or I am an artist. I want to do this. I got the bread to do it. Cool. We about to make some music and we about to do it in a way where we can live the life that we want to live. Also in the 2000s, there was a massive spike in prosecutors introducing rap lyrics into criminal proceedings. Rather than being treated as fictional or metaphorical, lyrics were presented to juries as literal, right? Literal confessions to establish intent or character. So when people say, and this is from an article from Harvard University. So people thought that this was new when it happened to Young Thug. No, this been happening. So fast forward, we're in the early 2000s and y'all at home watching Rap City in the Basement, BT, MTV, all of the above, right? And then you see All of these songs. The PIMP by 50 Cent. I even believe T.I. was making everybody. Pimping All Over the World by Ludacris. Everybody was pushing this culture. Everybody was pushing this culture. When 50 Cent made PIMP, he made this at the same time that they were enforcing human trafficking laws. When Ludacris made Pimpin' All Over the World, he was making this at the same time that they were enforcing human trafficking laws. When T.I. made Let's Get Away and all the other music about, pimp tight and all of this, they were creating human trafficking laws. Let's take a listen to a song from that time.
I don't know what you heard about me, but if you can't get $1 out of me, no Cadillac, no perms you can't see, then I'm a PIMP. I don't know what you heard about me, but if you can't get $1 out of me, no Cadillac, no perms you can't see, then I'm a PIMP.
All right. So, they made it cool.
What do you mean by that?
Hello. They made it cool for everybody to want to walk around. And mind you, I'm 38. So at this time, I was in high school. So we talk about the music that our children listen to now and the things that they're saying. But imagine your child walking around talking about their pimp or that I got O's. I got O's in different area code. Pimping All Over the World, right? These are the songs that if you were in high school in the early 2000s, we were singing these songs verbatim. We were singing these songs verbatim, right? And then what happened? You get hit with the human trafficking bill at the same time that this music is being created. You can't tell me that it's not a setup. You cannot tell me that it's not a setup. This is what they was pushing. So you got FBI hitting up NWA in the 1980s saying that they can't make music about harming the police, although the police can not make music, but they can take our lives, and nobody's doing nothing about it. They send NWA a letter saying, cease and desist, you can't perform this song in the middle of Rodney King getting his lights beat out of him. In the 90s, they saying you can't make music calling women out of their name. And then Pac said, okay, cool, I'm going to keep your head up. And they still went on. The vice president still went and did a press conference, right? That was a direct target. So, what year did Eric Wright die? 1994. What year did Tupac Shakur die? 1996. And these are two entities who were targeted by the FBI because of the type of music that they made and because of what it was doing to the masses of the people. So now you got the mass incarceration bill. Now you got politics involved in hip hop. So much to the point where there's nothing that they can do about it but attempt to capitalize off of it. Okay, cool. Going to the 2000s. Have them make this type of music, right? And the setup is because when you look at the year that the human trafficking laws were created during this time, it was before this type of music came out. Not to say it wasn't out before, but I'm talking about this specific generation of music. So the law came out, and then you had Pimping All Over the World. I got O's in different area codes. I don't know what you heard about me. I'm a PIMP. You got all these artists, all the record labels pushing these artists to talk about pimping. And then they start getting hit with the human trafficking laws. So they're utilizing the music and the culture to push people to live this lifestyle and then turn around and lock them up because they're going to get paid. This is the name of the game. Man, what? The name, take that. That's what he's saying now too. Take that. This is the name of the game, and they're still doing it, and it started in the 2000s. Make them create these laws. Make them make this type of music. Lock they black butt up when they make this music so we can make money off of them in prison and out of prison. We gonna make money off your music, off your royalties, off your masters, and we gonna make money physically off of you because we're going to lock you up for making the music that you made, even though we told your record label to tell you to make the music. Set up. I don't think y'all hearing me. And now y'all running around like, why these kids this? Yeah, because all they listen to is NBA YoungBoy. Only for him to have the money to go to the clinicians he need and come out and say, my therapist said that I need to change my life. Or other artists. Yeah, I don't even really smoke or drink. I just make music like that. But guess what? Your babies do, because those are the artists that they listen to. This is still happening. It's just packaged up in a different way. Let's continue this conversation when we come back from break. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler, 101.7 The Truth.
Milwaukee, we need more leaders. If you're a man 24 or older, it's time to stop talking about change and be the change. Join the 100 Black Men of Milwaukee, where successful men come together to mentor youth, strengthen our community, and build the next generation of leaders. Your experience, your wisdom, your legacy, it all matters. Visit Milwaukee100.org, click membership, and apply today. 100 Black Men of Milwaukee. What they see is what they'll be.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
Yo, why is Jadakiss as hard as it gets? Why is the industry designed to keep the artists in debt? And why them dudes ain't riding if they part of your set? And why they never get it popping but they party
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. Life's better when you know you are covered. With the home and auto policy from American Family Insurance, you are not just buying coverage, you are getting an agent who helps you feel protected and prepared. Someone who understands what you've built and what you are building next. Because when your home and your ride are protected the right way, you are free to focus on your family, your goals, and your future. Insure carefully. Dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, is operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin. Truth Nation, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you are just now joining us, we are going through decades of music and how it pertains to being the soundtrack of America. Each generation of music gives us information on what it is that us, the people, are going through, right? And we spent the past hour and a half talking about the 60s, the 70s, 80s, so on and so on. And now we are pulling up to the year of 2000. So before we went to break, I was tapping into just laying out the foundation of what it looks like and how certain government entities targeted the hip-hop music industry in order to not only capitalize off of our people, but to put us in a position to where we could potentially be penalized for expressing ourselves or for indulging in certain activities. So I was saying that the year 2000 is when things changed drastically. So you have the Trafficking Victims Protection Act. The landmark Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000 laid the groundwork for the federal response to human trafficking. In the years since, Congress has built on this foundation, honing and expanding the U.S. strategy to combat sex trafficking and labor trafficking through a holistic, multi-agency approach. Polaris works with allies to shape, support, and share innovative state, federal, and local laws and policies that are driven by data based on survivor experience and focused on expanded accountability for sex and labor trafficking. There is one thing that I want y'all to pay attention to, and that is the multi-agency approach. What that means is, for artists specifically, and this is still happening today, but for artists specifically, they were sending in multiple government agencies to target them based on the music that they were making. But here's the cold setup. The setup is this bill comes out. And then you have, because remember, the record label, the private prisons have shares inside of the record labels. The setup is, all right, we're going to put out this Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000 to help people who are being human trafficked and who are part of human trafficking. And we're going to go back to the record label and say, hey, we want you to make this song. Make this song. And even if the label didn't directly tell them to, they put them in rooms or somebody had a conversation. Somebody sparked the idea. Sometimes the devil don't come knocking at your door. Sometimes he gonna send somebody to you. Who sent you? Who sent you? Hoppo, who that woman? Somebody sent somebody to tell these artists to make music surrounding pimping. All while there was a bill out to protect people who was considered as being a part of human trafficking. They make the music, and then you begin to see people go to jail, right? And if they don't go to jail, it's because more than likely they were biting the bullet, conforming, doing whatever it is. You know how crazy and freaky this industry can be, right? They probably were a part of it. Not to mention, that's a whole different topic, but not to mention, this whole time that this is happening, there was actually real human trafficking happening on Epstein's Island. Are y'all paying attention to the setup? I mean, it's not funny. I'm laughing because it's mind-boggling. It's similar to someone in the streets who set somebody else up for something that they didn't do.
Damn.
The private prisons have shares and stakes inside of the record labels, They then grab these artists, mold them to be who they want them to be, tell them to make this specific music, lock them up, have them brainwash the masses of the people, lock them up and lock up the people that they was brainwashing, make money physically off of them, because we all know prison is slavery. So while they're in prison, they're making money off of them. And while they're in prison, their music is still selling. And now they own the masters of royalties. They own their name. They have life insurance policies on these artists. So they're making money every which way. So they're creating these laws for the artists to take the fall. Meanwhile, there's a whole island called Epstein Island. Not to say, because I don't know. I can't vouch for certain artists. I don't know what they was doing if they really was in that life. But what I can say is, there was a whole island that really was partaking in this. And they used hip hop as the front man. They use music as the front. So 2000s is here. You got the human trafficking laws. You got the pimping music being pushed out. Okay, cool. By the time we get to 2005, that slows down, and now we're into strictly hustle mode. Now we're into everybody getting to it, right? Everybody is a hustler. I'm talking getting it. And this is at the height of BMF. This is at the height of all types of street organizations, right? And now it's becoming a full circle again. Okay, cool. Now we're about to start taking their lyrics and using it against them again. So everything that they're talking about, we're going to take that information and use it in court. And we're running around here thinking everybody's at this time, and I'm telling y'all this too because remember, I'm an artist. I entered this industry at 15 years old. I've been around all of it. Everything I'm talking about, I've been around it. I've seen it with my own eyes as far as how they chose to dissect this industry and pick it apart. Now we're in the late 2000s, and now they're taking people, music, and using it against them to lock them up, to create indictments and all of everything. Now everybody hustling, everybody grinding, everybody getting to it. That's the culture now, right? So we leave out of the hustlers culture, and then indictments started going, and we get to 2010 to like 2015. And can any of y'all tell me what artist like was popping at that time? I can. Future, Streets Calling mixtape. I'm guilty of it. I was in my early 20s. It was cracking. All the music he was putting out was cracking. But this is when we started to see lean. This is where we started to hear artists talking about lean, popping perks. They been popping X, but now they pushing the perks and the lean. They not only is they pushing that, they pushing hustle too. So you go from the pimping with the human trafficking laws to the hustling, and now they're using rap lyrics as indictment. And by the time you get to 2012, they're talking about lean and pills. And it's coming from artists who has never used drugs in their life. Come on. Right? Now this is the new culture. Everybody, they say, I can't understand the music that they making. Why they singing? Why they sounding like that? Because they high as hell. They high. Ain't nothing changed but the lyrics. The artists from back in the day was high too. Y'all, I know y'all seen that.
They had that good stuff back then, boy.
He was chewing and he ain't even had nothing in his mouth. The difference is they were singing about substance. During this time, they were singing about perks. lean, all of the above. Dirty Sprite. Ain't never drunk lean, nothing in their life. Didn't even do drugs, but they pushing it to us. And again, to each his own. We all have a freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want, right? But know that it comes with something. So now you start to see everybody rapping in the club, riding around, they hustling, they drinking lean, they popping perks, they doing all of the above, and they putting it in their music. Talking about having threesomes and everybody smashing everybody, and then you look up and what is the AIDS rate? What is the STD rate? Right? This is what our people are pushing in the music. Hey, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just trying to get y'all to understand. I'm not being biased or trying to be hypocritical and say that these people shouldn't make this type of music or whatever, because I've contributed to making certain type of music, which is why I don't no more. I chose at that time in 2011 to say, I don't want to make this music no more because I can't be out here in the community telling my people not to do this, but I'm kicking this to them. And I understand not everybody is willing to do that, and that's fine. But I had to make that choice. We are talking about the soundtrack of our lives, the soundtrack to America, music, and how it was set up by government entities. This is your girl, Jazz Tyler, 101.7 The Truth.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot fast and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Now pour it on up. It's going down. Dipping on some scissor. Dipping on some 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 dipping on some
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. Hey, listen, if you are watching live, don't judge me. I was in here bopping. right? If you are just now joining us, we are going through decades of the music industry, the soundtrack to our lives and the soundtrack to America KKK, okay? And how the music industry and the government entities set up artists utilizing the music industry. Shout out to the chat. LaRon Taylor said, so the gang life that they affiliated themselves with East Coast and West Coast had nothing to do with their deaths. Dad always told me just because it's a setup don't mean you have to fall for it. Absolutely, it has something to do with it, right? But, and you're right, the second part, just because it's a setup don't mean you have to fall for it. So this is where the grace come in at. The grace come in because you have to think about the masses of the people, the state of mind that they were in during these times. The state of mind, everybody, when you hungry, you broke, literally, when you're literally hungry and broke, you mad. Y'all mad when it's 90 degrees outside. You don't want to be bothered, let alone hungry and broke. Yeah, anybody can get it. When you living in poverty, it becomes easy to be angry and to react because you don't have nothing to lose. And again, it don't mean that you have to fall for it, but it goes back to it. The conditions of our people being oppressed is not our fault. What is our fault is that we're not paying attention enough to what's happening, or if we are, we just don't care. That's the problem. We're laying out the entire setup from the start to now. They've been setting us up this whole time, and I ain't telling y'all nothing y'all don't know. So now we're in the year 2012. Everybody's pushing perks and lean, right? Now everybody named Mama High off cough syrup and liquor. Everybody popping perks. They walking around like zombies. This is when the zombie type of identity started. And then we fast forward to 2015 to 2020. And you begin to see the emasculation of black men on a completely different level. Now the artists are wearing dresses. Now they are wearing purses. Now they are painting their nails. And we're not talking about the alphabet community. We're not talking about someone's sexuality. We're talking about them feminizing black men who were artists to make a statement. Because when you look at it, they were not dressing like this every day. They just forced them to take a photo shoot in this attire. So now they're sending another message. Hey, y'all been rising up for so many years. Y'all making all this gangster music. Y'all calling the government out in the 90s. Y'all hustling in the 2000s and y'all pimping. All right, cool. I'm about to make you my B. Go ahead and put this purse on. Go ahead and paint them nails. Go ahead and get them bedazzled earrings and piercings on your face. Go ahead and wear these dresses and skirts.
In Young Thug's defense, he said he had to wear the dress to hide the gun.
You know what, Z? I've been around some real ones my whole life, and they ain't never had to wear a dress to hide a gun. Bruh. Okay.
Not even an AK?
They ain't never had to wear a dress to hide a gun. For real. They did all of this. Okay, cool. I'm about to make you mine. And they completely feminized black men who were representation of the ghetto, the hood, the struggle. Then they started to go and grab people who they know they can mold, right? So there used to be a time where the streets dictated the music. The music did not dictate the streets. Now you have artists who are trying to be in the streets that's never been in the streets, not knowing Negro. They was doing music to get out the streets, and you trying to run back to it and then wonder why you end up in jail. So they doing all of this stuff. They becoming more feminine, not by nature, not because this is who they are, but because they are being forced to for the agenda and the propaganda at hand. So now we have them all during the 1990s, the mass incarceration. During this time, So many people, family members, fathers, uncles, brothers was taken away, which means that a whole generation has been removed. They didn't get out until 2015. They went in 1995. Now they're coming back into society under the code that they was under when they left. In a society where there is no longer a code. In society where they have to deal with young black men who are being feminized by the music industry. And then you wonder why they can't get along. 2 different generations, 2 different codes, 2 different types of men. You have a male and a man. Now everything is all discombobulated. So they wearing the dresses and they doing all that. They popping the perks. They doing all of this stuff. Then 2018, 2017, they said, hey, let's create drill music. Let's create drill music. Right? Let's take an artist from Chicago and let's make this type of music and start calling Chicago Chirac. And then we're going to drop off some military weapons in the alley when everybody sleep at night and go arrest them, watch them kill each other, and then go pick them up. Another setup. So we was all riding around. What we was listening to, Z? This what we riding around. Everybody in their cars in 2018, after, the gangster rap in the 80s, then the 90s, the president's coming out, then the mass incarceration, then in 2000, it's the pimping and the hustling, then it's the lean and so on. And now by the time we reach 2018, it's drill music. What? Come on. Let's start a serial killer music, man. Z, this really got like Listen, they in here making it rain, man. But y'all hear it, right? Y'all hear it. This is the start of drill music. This is the start of. So now they're saying, we didn't took these young music artists, made them feminine and gangsters at the same time. Bruh. So now, pew pew. Brother Z, what'd you say? Pew pew. Now you expected to walk down the street and see somebody. Like, if you black, you know what I mean, man. You know when somebody just got out. So 2015, everybody that went in under the mass incarceration law, the 1994 crime bill, they out. They hard body, right? From their head to their shoes, they hard body 10 toes. And you mixing them into a society with a whole bunch of young black rappers wearing persons, painting their nails, and carrying an AK at the same time. Talk about confused, right? So now you got the drill music in effect. Chief Keef come out. All these artists come out. I'm sorry, Chief Keef was out before 2018, but you know what I mean. All this type of music come out. Then here come NBA Youngboy, the young people's hope. Here come King Von, right? Here come so many of these artists. This is where the whole ops, you a op, right? And they done got so tricky with it to where they start FaceTiming they ops and having playful shootouts. Like, they literally be on FaceTime like, yeah, you the op, I'ma see when I catch you, I'ma get you. You was kind of fast. Like it's a game. Their life is a game. And what they started to do once drill music started, what did they start to do? We're going to talk about it after the break. Do not touch that dial. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler, 101.7 The Truth.
The destruction of black people!
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Milwaukee, your weekdays have a new rhythm. Start your mornings with conversations that matter.
Again, I'm the legendary Homer Blow, along with my girl,
Bailey Coleman. Truth in the Morning with Homer Blow and Bailey Coleman. Weekdays, 7 to 9 a.m. Then keep it locked with the voice of the community.
And the more you know and the more skills you have, the more training you have, the better off your community is.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, 9 a.m. to noon. Lunch is on us. Turning up your midday vibe.
It's your boy Ray Nitty and my co-host Maybe Shannon. You can find us on Facebook at The Lunch Break. Make sure y'all follow us, y'all.
It's The Lunch Break with Ray Nitty and Maybe Shannon, noon to 2 p.m. Then we're closing out your day with energy. Lots of it.
It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. Milwaukee Truth Nation. We are talking black leadership in the city of Milwaukee.
Tap in with Jazz Tyler every afternoon, 4 to 7 p.m. Your home for Milwaukee Conversations. The award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Milwaukee, mark your calendars. Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Riverside University High School. Interested in volunteering? Visit truthfamilyfest.com or by emailing Sierra, Cierra.brown@milwaukeeblackmedia.com. Special thanks to Educators Credit Union, American Family Insurance, Milwaukee Public Schools, Artists Working in Education, City of Milwaukee, Department of Community Wellness and Safety, AB Core, Tap In MKE, and Ascension.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day, when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. Improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to healthcare and nutritious food for their tables. Where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support. And where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
Milwaukee Black Talk lives here on 1017 FM and 1510 AM, W269DL Milwaukee, and WGKB Waukesha.
I just put up in that top, man, Bobo in it, catching what you and I'm so fresh, I know she want me, bake on on. This day catch it up and hop out, walk it down. Then I swear like that top, why it down.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. Hey, if you are listening, please make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel on 101.7 The Truth. Follow us on social media, 101.7 The Truth, and tap in MKE. You can also hit up the chat. Shout out to those who are listening. Shout out to the chat too. Jazz West says, Boondock said it, and you better believe it.
The destruction of black people.
I try to told you. You better believe it. If you are just now joining us, we are going through decades of music, the soundtrack to America, right? A lot of every generation has had artists and music that has been projected onto the masses of the people to explain what it is that we're dealing with and the conditions that we're living in. And we've went through each decade and ended up in the late 2000s. Now we're around drill time, right? This is between 2015 to even now, right? Because I think drill music is still around, but when it first started, it was so heavy, right? The bass line, the vibration of the beats, all of that, it was extremely heavy. The content, the lyrics, everything that they were talking about. And I call it serial killer music. That's what I refer to it as. Again, I'm not perfect. Some of them beats I like, but because I am the age that I am, I have to protect my doorway, so I no longer listen to it. But I understand, again, the setup of it all. When drill music became a factor, so what I was stating before the break was that during this time of 2015, after the whole perks and lean was introduced, they began to feminize the black men who were music artists. And then after that happened, they went and placed military artillery in their hands. So now you got a young rapper walking around with piercings on their face with the AK in a purse at the same time. Make it make sense?
In a purse.
And a purse at the same time, right? And we started to see so many of these hip hop rap artists, young black men under the age of 25 dying, being killed, not knowing that the insurance companies, that the record labels took insurance policies out on them, helped them create the beef, helped them start the beef, helped them finish the beef. They sent somebody to put the bug in their ear. You should make this type of music. This is your environment, whatever the case may be. Then they end up getting into it, and now they gone. And now the insurance company gets paid not only off of the the record labels get paid off of not only the insurance, but the royalties, the masters, the catalog, right? Now they got a bankroll. Now they're fully capitalizing not only off of our people being slaves, meaning going to prison, but also with them being deceased. When you look at the music industry today, I can't say that everybody is like this, but for the most part, we just went from 1970 to 2026. And every generation that we have spoken about has been set up by government entities. And again, when we go back to this policy and legislation about Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000, I was talking about that and how it correlated with music being made about pimping during this time. It states that they expanded the U.S. strategy to combat sex trafficking and labor trafficking through a holistic multi-agency approach. That was already happening. All they did was just finally admit it publicly. But prior to that, what is a multi-agency approach? FBI, CIA, informants, CIs, local police department, government officials, elected officials, any type of agency you can think of, they reached out to form a task force. They reached out to form a task force specifically for the music industry. Right? So now you have artists who are describing a lifestyle, and they sit in interviews and try to not endorse the lifestyle, right? But here's something that's interesting. Now we're moving into accountability. Who's responsible? Is the artist responsible? Is the producer responsible? Is the label responsible? Who is responsible? If a corporation markets that image because it's profitable, does the corporation inherit any responsibility for what it normalizes? Meaning that if these labels are pushing these artists to make certain type of music, should they be charged with third party? Should they be included inside of whatever indictment, whatever comes along with it because they were a part of it? Obviously, we know that won't happen. But should there be accountability for the record labels? And this is not me saying I agree with the statement. This is me asking y'all, how do y'all feel about it? 833-212-1017. Should record labels be held accountable for helping market and push a certain type of music? Obviously, the first person is going to say it's a freedom of speech. They can make. Well, guess what? Not so much if the artists are going to court and they're playing their music in court, using it against them during their indictment. Jazz West said 100%. All of them are responsible. All of them are indeed responsible. At some point, there has to be. So let me break it down for y'all. When you first start doing music and you come from a certain environment, you're going to make certain type of music. We all have. Even me. I was making music for the streets when I was in the streets, and it took Rico Love to say, why you rapping about this? You 18, 17, 18, talking about this. Make some soft music. Still did it anyways to a certain degree. And then it took for Derek Williams to happen, and it took for me to step back and look at my people and say, I don't want no parts of this. I can't be involved with making this type of music because I'm in the community. What do I look like? And even if I wasn't, I have to hold myself accountable because what I want to put out there, I have to be conscious of that. Have to be conscious of what I put out there. They're making this music because it's a reflection of where we come from, right? Here's the issue that I have now. When you first start making music, cool, I get it. We understand that the conditions of our people has not changed. For some, it has because obviously we've grown to have our own and become successful. But when it comes to the masses of the people being oppressed, we're still oppressed as a people. We're still dealing with the same things we've been dealing with. So by the time you reach a point where you have awareness, and you understand right from wrong, you understand that, hey, I don't like when people make excuses as if they don't have outs. Everybody has an out. Everybody has a choice. I'm never going to knock anybody. Because I can't pay your bills, I can't feed your children. So you got to get it how you live. But if the goal is to keep our people in a state of emergency, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of it because I've watched this happen throughout the years. I've sat back, researched it, studied it. You can see it flat out in your face. Whoever don't, agree, hey, if it don't apply, let it fly. But as someone who has been a part of this industry, at some point, you have to decide which side of the fence you are on. Are you going to be on the side of the fence that continues to push the music that is causing our young people to do what they do? Or are you going to be on the side of the fence where you say, hey, I want to self-express and make the music that I want to make, and I'm going to still do it, but I can't do it in that manner. Now, the crazy thing is, we didn't sit here for almost 3 hours, and talked about how they set up NWA, how they set up Tupac Shakur, how they set up, you know, and again, I'm not just specifically saying specific artists. I'm talking about one artist from each generation who publicly, you seen what they did. The FBI sent NWA that letter. The vice president called Pac out at a press conference. Then they come out with the 1994 crime bill. Then they come out with the human trafficking bill in 2000. Then the artists start making music about pimping in 2003. Then they began to make music about hustling in 2005. And that's when the big indictment started rolling out. BMF, all of these people end up getting indicted. Then you go to 2012, they talking about lean and perks. And you move into drill music, and now they feminizing the black man and making him wear dresses and paint his nails while running around with a purse and an AK. Putting life insurance policies on them, helping them learn how to die. And there's still going to be somebody who says, it's just music. Well, if it was just music, we wouldn't be where we are. Let's talk about it. 833-212-1017. We got to go to break. The question I have for you is, if a corporation markets the image that these artists are pushing and profit off of it, does that corporation inherit any responsibility for what it normalizes? It's your girl, Jazz Tyler, 101.7 The Truth.
For 18 years, Veolia has done more than treat Milwaukee's water. Our people have raised their families here, built careers here, and been a part of the community. Generations of workers, millions of dollars a year invested in local businesses, a workforce center built to give young Milwaukeeans a real path into good local careers. 18 years later, Veolia is still here because Milwaukee's still home. Veolia, Milwaukee values, committed to its future.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
I didn't say I really miss my dog. It's so much of pain and I always feel like I'm giving.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. We are live in direct Milwaukee. Mark your calendars and join us for Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Riverside University High School. It's free and fun for the entire family, featuring great music, community resources, family activities, and back-to-school support to help students get ready for a successful school year. Interested in volunteering? Visit the Truth Family website at truthfamilyfest.com to complete the volunteer form, or by emailing Sierra Brown at CIERRA.brown@MilwaukeeBlackMedia.com. Bring the whole family and experience one of Milwaukee's favorite community celebrations. Truth Family Fest, Saturday, August 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Special thanks to Educators Credit Union, American Family Insurance, Milwaukee Public Schools, Artists Working in Education, City of Milwaukee, DCWS, AbCorp, and Ascension. Thank you so much for tuning in. Listen, if you are just joining us, today we are talking about the soundtrack of America, right? And we don't mean the white picket fences, country music, and all of that. We're talking about the hardcore truth and facts. We spent this entire show going from generation to generation, from the 70s all the way until now, when it comes to the music industry and how artists have been set up by government entities, specifically multi-agencies such as CIA, FBI, local police departments, elected officials, all of the above, based off of the music that they were making. So just to recap really quickly, the 70s, we all know what was going down then. We transitioned out of that type of music to gangster rap and to hip hop, which was nothing more than them expressing what was happening in their community. They then became a target. The FBI sent NWA a letter telling them, a cease and desist letter telling them that they could no longer make music talking about harming police officers, even though police officers was harming us around the country. They told them that they couldn't perform, right? Then in 1994, you see Eric Wright, rest in peace, gone. Or 95. 1990, 91, 92, the vice president goes on a press conference to attack Tupac Shakur about him and the way he referenced women in his music. Then all of a sudden he gets framed for a false allegation and go to prison. And then 1994, they come out with the crime bill, mass incarceration. So everything we was learning and everything that we was doing from the 80s, they about to make us pay for that. They about to remove a whole generation that won't be released for another 30 years. Now that whole generation is gone.
What time? When Pac was in Milwaukee?
That was 1991. 91. So after that, they began to lean more into the hustler mentality a little bit. Early 2000s, they dropped the human trafficking bill. The landmark Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000 laid the groundwork for the federal response to human trafficking. In the years since, Congress has built on this foundation, honing and expanding the U.S. strategy to combat sex trafficking and labor trafficking through a holistic multi-agency approach. What does that mean? Okay, they dropped this in 2000, 2003. 50 Cent come out with PIMP. Then Luda come out with I Got O's and Pimping All Over the World. All these artists start making music about pimping. And now they're sending them away for human trafficking. Meanwhile, there's a whole real human trafficking ring over at Epstein's Island. And hip hop has taken a fall for that, whether they was involved or not. Then you move from that to the hustle era. Everybody selling dope. Everybody out here getting to it. Now them indictments. RICO charges started to come into effect a little bit more. Then we reached 2012. Now we talking about lean and perks. Now everybody high as a kite, right? What's the pattern? The pattern is always drugs. It starts with drugs. Everybody high off lean and perks. Now you got the artists who are painting their nails, wearing purses, and carrying AKs at the same time. Then we lean over into the drill music era. And they begin to, in my opinion, my personal opinion, drop off military artillery in certain cities such as Chicago, and then nickname this city after Iraq during a time where Iraq was in a war. So they are basically saying, hey, we are declaring this state of war. On top of the drill music, on top of the perks, on top of the lean. Whole time, the record labels are taking insurance policies out on their artists. And they're sending, I'm a firm believer in who sent you. They're sending people, hey man, we should do this. We should make this type of music. We should, you know what I'm saying? Ops, all of that. And our young artists start dying, being killed. And the insurance money, the record labels start collecting the insurance funds. So they say, hey, not only did they collect the insurance funds, they getting the royalties and the masters too. The family ain't getting nothing. Now your family in court while you laid underground trying to fight for your estate. Hey, you ain't selling records? Don't worry about it. We gonna get it up out you one way or another. And now we are here. Now we are in a society where the young people, the artists they look up to, are all of these things combined. Gangsters, feminine, emotionally unintelligent, high as a kite, numb to murdering and death. They don't have no social skills. And a lot of them went through something during the pandemic. When you remove a child from its natural environment, meaning other children, and have them sitting in a home on a computer for a year, anybody, they're going to lack in social skills. Then you enhance the streaming, you enhance social media. You forcing everybody to stay on their phones so that they can pay attention to whatever the new trend is and follow suit. Don't forget, they started using rap lyrics in the courtroom, right? They have always set us up when it comes to hip hop and the rap industry. They've always set us up. They have always put us in situations to where we start to brainwash the masses of the people with the music without us subconsciously understanding the words and lyrics that's coming off of our tongue. Life and death lies in the power of the tongue. You don't believe me? What you listen to matters. And you know it matters. Put on some Frankie Beverly and Maze and watch how you feel. Happy feelings. Put on some King Von or some, whatever artist and look and see how you feel. And you can't tell me that it's not going to affect your mood. Not only do it affect your mood, it affects your driving. Y'all ever been in a car and one of your songs come on, you just start accidentally speeding out of nowhere? Swerve left, swerve right. That Boosie come on, you swerve, you doing all kind of stuff you normally wouldn't do. What you listen to matters. What you watch matters. What you say matters. What you hear. All of that stuff matters. So now they have forced this younger generation to become so addicted to technology and social media because that is how they're able to deliver the message. That's how they're able to push whatever agenda that they have. And it's working. It's working on a completely different level. Jazz West says, this is an awful combination. Exactly. It is. It is. And we all are guilty of listening to certain type of music. Again, this is not me shaming anybody, right? This is me saying, hey, I was a part of that when I used to do music. But I held myself accountable. I held myself accountable because I had a bigger responsibility. I would rather utilize my voice to impact and empower people than to send them off, because that's exactly what's happening. Our people have been sent off for too many years, and they got it conscrewed. They like to compare and contrast. Back in the day, y'all was doing things. Y'all was rapping about killing. We was reporting live from the trenches, man. We was telling the world what we were going through because we didn't have a voice anymore. They had got rid of every political black leader that we had. Assassinated all of them to silence us. And then we had the courage to create the gangster rap and the hip hop and say, hold on a minute. Now, we gonna say something. Oh, you is? All right. Keep talking. We're just going to infiltrate the entire culture. We're going to infiltrate it all. So again, throughout history of music, government entities has always put our people in a position to be trapped, to either die or go to. They've been sending us off and blaming us for it in the process. We got to go to break. When we come back, I want to hear from you. 833-212-1017. Should record labels be responsible for the consequences that comes from the music that these artists make today? It's your girl, Jazz Tyler, 101.7 The Truth.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
Yeah, I'm saying I put that up. Shout out my, that's me. I'm in this TB. I'm in this 4 tray. I just pulled on me a A. Real all in my face. 500 racks in my safe. 500 racks
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl Jazz Tyler. We are live and direct. Shout out to Brother Z and Mech, man. They back there getting it in. Shout out to the listeners. Please make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on social media. Follow me, The Jazzy Effect. JAZZIEEFFECT. Hit me up, Facebook, Jasmine Tyler. Listen, we had a great conversation today. Jasmine West says, low key, that 3-6 Mafia and Project Pat, Boosie, Webby, early Kanye, Common, Killer Cam, Bone Thugs, Outkast, Wayne, Nicki. I'm telling you, again, we all are guilty of it, right? We're talking about the soundtrack to America. Not country music, but the real America, America KKK. Throughout the decades from the 70s all the way up until now, the music industry has been a way for our people, specifically people, to express what was going on not only in their lives, but our communities. And every time we had a generation that chose to stand up and say something after they have dismantled the movement, the Black Power movement, the Civil Rights movement, and assassinated our leaders, we began to put this stuff in music. And then they said, hey, hold on a minute. You Negroes are getting, y'all puffing up your chest a little bit too much. We're going to have to go ahead and create this, send this FBI letter out for cease and desist, create this 1994 crime bill to lock y'all up. And then we're going to turn around and create other laws and force the artists to make these laws so that we can send all of y'all to jail and make money off of you being a slave in jail. And then make money off of your royalties and the music that you have, and your family ain't gonna get nothing. We got a caller on the line. Ben from the north side, are you there?
Yeah, I want you to reframe your question just so I can make sure I'm answering what you're asking.
My question is, should record labels be responsible for the consequences that comes with rap artists making the music that they make?
My response would be not accountable, ultimately accountable. They provide the incentive for people to want to possibly make stuff that's not maybe the most positive stuff in exchange for $1. But you have the freedom to express your, whatever your viewpoint is in the life you experience. You can express it in however you choose. But if you're willing to create images that'll be detrimental to your community, that's not the company's issue. That's you as an artist issue, and you don't have to take the money.
That's where I'm going to agree with you on. You don't have to take the money whatsoever. But part of what you said, the reason why I asked that is because a lot of the private prisons have shares in these music labels. And what happens is, especially when they used to have artist development, they will have sessions where they have producers, writers, so on and so on. They say, hey, we should make this type of music. Or they give them the tools they need in order to self-destruct so that they can make money off of it.
But you use the term self-destruct. You have a freedom of choice. And everything that you can make $1 off of, yeah, it could enrich you, but it doesn't mean every dollar ain't a good dollar. And so they create the mechanism, and it's exploitation, and they hope, it's twofold. I'm going to make money off of your efforts because people will buy your stuff. And at the same time, maybe it puts the community at a greater disadvantage, which benefits, different communities. You have the choice. You have to make the choice. Am I going to do what's best for my community, or am I going to sell out for the $1? Because it comes down to selfishness and community consciousness.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ben. I agree. Thank you so much for tapping in with us. Just to kind of, add to what he said, for context purposes, in the music industry, there are some situations where you don't have a choice. And if you know, you know. Once you sign that contract, no matter what you thought it was, it ain't about to be. And the record labels will tell you what you should and shouldn't make. What you should. You can record 50, 60, 70 songs. You can say, I want to put out D17. If they don't agree with it, they won't. They are making the decisions on what songs go onto the album. They are making the decisions on the writing, the producing, as far as how they want it to be if they have a certain agenda. If the goal is to get the prisons full, then we're going to assist with making sure that y'all make the music that we need y'all to make. And again, to his point, you do have a choice, but sometimes you don't. And again, if you know, you know. There are some instances in the industry, situations where once you in, there is no out. And you're going to have to play whatever game it is, or it's going to be lights out. Me personally, I believe that there should be some accountability. But to Ben's point, they can't capitalize off of our pain if we don't sell out.
I know that's right.
They cannot capitalize off of our pain if we don't add fuel to the fire. At some point, you have to make a decision, right? You have to make a decision. What side of the fence are you on? Shout out to the chat. What's up, Mighty? Mighty said, Lil Baby, Future, Tupac, Dre, it don't stop. Miles the Elephant says, so they have artist development, but no school development. Come on now. Come on. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Yes. And it's so crazy now because I come from an era where you cannot have no type of play in the industry unless you really had talent. Now anybody can wake up and decide that they want to rap or they want this image, even if they not. And the labels are gonna say, oh yeah, we want to make another Percocet, lean sipping, money making, pushing, having sex with multiple people at the same time. Yeah. Let's go ahead and increase the STD rates. Let's go ahead and increase death. Let's go ahead and increase people going to prison. Let's go ahead and increase the disruption between black women and black men relationship-wise. And that person is saying, oh, sign me up. Yeah, sign me up because I'm tired of living like this. These are the same people who got you living in the conditions that you're living in. Hello. These are the same people who have been oppressing you, right? Just because they throwing money don't mean that they still not capitalizing off of your pain. It's some artists I can't even listen to because I know them labels and took out life insurance policies on them boys and got them off. It's heartbreaking. Like we have to begin to have these conversations because I am so tired. I am so tired of hearing people complain about the music today and the state of the youth not knowing that this is a part of the reason why they are just like y'all. Y'all was running around here when Juvenile was, huh? That's you with that big body Benz, huh? That's you that can't keep old lady because you keep smashing her friends, huh? Y'all run around here with Reeboks and Jabos. Jeezy come out. Don't ban the snowman. Everybody at school with snowman t-shirts on. Easy them come out. Everybody got Wave Nouveaus. You can't tell me that music has not influenced every single generation. You can't tell me. And now our babies are running around with tight jeans, nails painted, and a gat in their purse. Listen, they running around here looking like dude off Low Down Dirty Shame. Pants tighter than mine with rhinestones up the butt. But they gonna take a life in the same breath. This is what we have come to. This is, and for the people that say it's just music, it's our fault. Yes, it is our fault. And we have to be better. But you still have to give grace, because the amount of work and strategy that went into programming our people to be in the mind frames that we're in, on top of the things that was given to us for disabilities, for us to have these disabilities, the oppression, the conditioning of our people for so many years. This wasn't something they just made up overnight. It took years. They put a plan years, hundreds of years ago. They put a plan into place that is still in effect. And for some odd reason, black people, we give everybody else slack but us. For some odd reason, we think in 50 years that, or 100 years, that we're all going to unlearn and relearn. No, no, no. And we most definitely are not in the position to not have grace for our people when we keep endorsing BS like serial killer music and everything else that's being played out here. Don't talk about the youth if you don't want to be a part of the responsibility. If you don't want to be a part of the solution. You got to choose. Again, I'm guilty of it. I still listen. Man, what? Thug Motivation 101? You better believe it. You better believe it. Period. In rotation, baby. But guess what? I'm old enough. The baby's not. They don't know that half of these artists don't really drink lean and pop pills. They don't know that. They don't know the history and how we have been set up continuously when it comes to the music industry. Because nobody is telling them. Instead, people is telling them, go sign that deal. Go get your mama out the hood and sign that deal. Baby, you signing your life away. Let's talk about it. 833-212-1017. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. Do not touch that dial.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling. The limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says,
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com, with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. pregame to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
101.7 The Truth. It's your girl, Jazz Tyler. Milwaukee, mark your calendars. Join us for the Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Riverside University High School. It's free and fun for the entire family, featuring great music, community resources, family activities, and back-to-school support to help students get ready for a successful school year. Interested in volunteering? Visit the Truth Family Fest website at truthfamilyfest.com to complete the volunteer form, or by emailing Sierra Brown at CIERRA.brown@MilwaukeeBlackMedia.com. Bring the whole family and experience one of Milwaukee's favorite community celebrations, Truth Family Fest, Saturday, August 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Special thanks to Educators Credit Union, American Family Insurance, Milwaukee Public Schools, Artists Working in Education, City of Milwaukee, DCWS, AB Core, and Ascension. And tap in MKE. So, for those who are just joining us, welcome back to Tap In. We had an amazing conversation about the music industry over the decades and about how government entities plays a huge part in the setup, all of the above. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the text line. Angela Irby says, there are so many songs about minors in old rock music or whatever it's called, but I don't recall any of those white men getting arrested or charged. Me either, right? Their favorite, Elvis, was one of them. He married a 14-year-old girl. They've never been held accountable. Why? Because they are a part of what's happening. They've created what's happening, right?
It went from worse to worse, sir.
Come on now. Hank says, to my understanding, the industry wanted gangster music to take over and replace Public Enemy and Fight the Power movement because they were educating black folks on and was scared of revolution. I wholeheartedly believe exactly. That's pretty much what I said in a nutshell earlier. The minds of the masses of the people were being transformed, and every time we rise up, they do something. So because they assassinated all of our leaders, the Black Power movement, the Black Panther movement, the Civil Rights movement, to send a message, by the time we rose up in music, the banging, all of that was out. It was like, hold on, this a little different. They ain't, passive or none of that stuff. We got to approach it differently. And they hit us with these crime bills and human trafficking bills after they done told these artists to make music about pimping, make music about selling drugs, so on and so on. Angela Irby says, record labels should be held accountable for what they knowingly enable, promote, and profit from. I wholeheartedly believe it, because guess what? If this is any other corporation, let's say you have a BMO Harris Bank, and someone comes in there and slips and falls. Do you think that the manager is going to be responsible, or the person who cleaned it? Absolutely not. BMO Harris is going to be responsible. The corporation overall.
And that's the truth.
So why is it that the record labels get a slap on the wrist? Why is it that when they decide what songs go on the album, how they want to push and market it, that they don't have any responsibility in the consequences? She also said that, so when you say sometimes there is no out, that sounds like a gang. America is the biggest gang. Yes, indeed. In the music industry, everyone is expandable, fortunately and unfortunately. The chat, Avery Shelton said, Empire Records. If you know, you know. Thank you so much. You killed it today, Jazz. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Ma the Elephant says, I will never forgive them for what they did to MJ and Pac. Never. Me neither. We going, and speaking of it, we're going through it right now. 30 years later, we are in the middle of the Tupac murder trial. We never thought we'd see the day. And everybody is blowing past it like it's just a normal day. And it's not. Because what happened to him is much bigger than just a simple, there was a fight broken out inside of the casino. If you truly think that that's what that was, after knowing too that he was the first major artist to be assassinated, it's almost like they made him the poster boy to send in an example of what was coming next, because look how many other artists we've lost along the way due to the influence of the music industry. There are so many people responsible for the deaths of artists and people they've influenced, right? The crazy thing is, I don't know if y'all remember in the 90s where this guy in Atlanta was trying to sue Pac because he said his lyrics made him commit a crime. And somehow, you can actually take an artist to court for that. But you can't take a record label exec to court for endorsing and promoting this. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Ma the Elephant says, yeah, right, they got the wrong one. Same with Nipsey. Then again, some of us are easily manipulated. We are. Because we believe everything the media tells us. It is actually sickening how many people are so comfortable with being a part of the problem and not the solution. As an educator, for those who are not familiar, during the day I actually teach music. I am an artist. I'm not an active artist, but been in the industry since I was 15. Not just Milwaukee industry, but the industry worldwide, the music industry overall. And currently during the day, I teach at Howard Fuller High School. I teach students how to rap, sing, engineer, make beats, use instruments, podcast, DJ, all of that. And the reason why I enjoy doing what I do is because I want to make sure that they are not taken advantage of. Right? Luckily, we live in a world where you don't necessarily have to sign a record deal now. If you streaming and you doing what you want to do, the main reason why people are signing it now because they want fame. They don't want the money, they want fame. But my job, based off of the things that I've been through, is to make sure I protect these babies, make sure they're not taken advantage of while trying to pursue their dreams based off of the gift that God gave them, right? Everybody can't shoot a basketball. Everybody can't throw a football. Some of us, all we know how to do is make music, and we shouldn't be penalized for that. We shouldn't be oppressed for that. That's a natural gift that has been in our bloodline for thousands of years. That's who we are. But my call to action is make a choice. Start protecting your doorways. Start paying attention, man. Stop being a part of the problem. Stop being a part of the problem. They've been setting us up in the music industry. They set Billie Holiday up. That was in the 50s. Got to do better. Thank y'all so much for tapping in with me today. Listen, make sure y'all double back next week. We got some special guests coming in the building. But I want y'all, most importantly, to have a great weekend, right? Jazz tired. It's been a rough couple of weeks, but exciting. But I'm tired, okay? I got to get my daughter moved into her dorm. I got to go back to work on Monday, working during the day at the school. Get my baby girl ready for school, too. So I'm getting me some rest. I hope y'all get some rest and enjoy y'all weekend as well. Peace and love, Truth Nation. Have a great weekend, Milwaukee.
Pulled up quick, didn't text this time. Thought I was surprised you had you on my mind. Lights real low, something's feeling off. Too quiet in here, where you at?